Hello everyone and welcome to session 2 of the corrections badge. And this is a series that we've had before and we are repeating again. So you will receive your badge after we've completed this set of webinars. So keep an eye out for those. My name is Abby and I'm going to be your host for today. We're going to be covering on today's session bank payments, receipts and transfers. Now today's session is booked out for 45 minutes, but we're not going to need all of that time today, so it will more likely be a quick learn, so you will get some time back. I've got Michael and I've got Laura on today supporting the webinar, so please do keep your questions coming throughout the session so we can keep those busy. If you are new to webinars, just go through a little bit of housekeeping. So when you join the session, you will be placed on mute automatically. If you wish to ask any questions, you can use the questions panel down the right-hand side, and it's just the speech bubble with the question mark in the middle. If you wish to download a handout of today's webinar, you can use the little icon that looks like a document with a folded corner to get access to today's handout. Just a reminder, all webinars are recorded and they will be included in your follow-up email. In your follow-up email, you're also going to get a link to register for future webinars and access to recordings of other webinar topics as well. So again, keep an eye out for that. You usually get that around an hour after the session has ended. So just a reminder about our Corrections Digital Badge series. So you must attend any of the 3 of the 4 topics plus one of our quiz sessions to earn your digital badge. So sessions that include customers and suppliers, today's session, which is bank payments, receipts and transfers. We've got journals and we've got VAT transactions as well. So want to get registered for the other sessions on your handout, you can click register now. Alternatively, the link will be in your follow-up email. Okay, so this is what we're going to be covering in today's webinar. So we're going to look at types of bank transactions, methods for bank corrections. We'll delve into the corrections and demonstration, and we'll cover some further support and Q&A towards the end. Okay, so let's look at different types of bank transactions. So the ones we're talking about are internal bank transfers, so your journal credits and your journal debits, bank payments or receipts, so your BPs and your BRs, cash payments or receipts, so CP/CR, and then you've got your Visa payments or receipts, that's your VP or your VR. So that's the sort of transactions that we're going to be looking at today. So methods for correction. So for example, you've made an error. For now, we'll just say it's an error in a bank, the bank section without being specific. What are the things that we can look at to fix this error, apart from obviously restoring a backup? So the first one you've got is edit the transaction. So there's two things that happen when you edit a transaction. So it's going to be down to whether you edit a critical field. So what that will do is it will delete and re-enter. Or you've got a non-critical and that will just edit the original. And I'm going to cover a little bit more about this in just a moment. You can also delete the transaction and then manually reprocess, or you can post the opposite, so counterbalance the incorrect transaction. Which of these you use depends on what the issue is. So with editing, this is mainly only possible if you need to change something that is a non-critical field. If it is a critical field, you may find yourself having to do either a deleting or posting the opposite. Now, when you edit critical fields, so this is when you amend the original transaction, and that's what's going to be updated, and then a new one will be posted to show the original details. So it's keeping that audit trail. So Laura's probably covered this on her session around customers and suppliers corrections. And on sessions, we often get asked as well, well, what are the red lines? And this is what we're referring to. So we're talking about red lines and audit trails, and it either means that it's been deleted or cancelled. So when working with the bank transactions, if you edit a critical field, so you're looking at customers or suppliers account reference, nominal codes, bank accounts, dates, net and VAT amount, tax codes. So if you change any of those, the original transaction will remain with the correct changes. But what it'll do is it'll post another transaction with the original details on there. So there's an audit trail of your changes. And then you've also got your non-critical fields as well. So transaction reference, transaction details, department, payment reference, bank reconciliation flag as well. Now, if you want to read more into, what these red lines mean, what the different ones mean in cancelled or deleted in your software, I have provided a guide there for deleted or cancelled transactions. So I definitely recommend checking that out because that does go into detail all around what those mean as well. Okay, so this is what we're going to be covering in the demonstration. So we're going to look at bank transfers, editing or posting a reversal, and then we'll look at reconciled transactions. So looking at bank or VAT reconciled transactions. So what we'll do now is we'll delve straight into the demonstration. So I'm just going to pop over to my software. So bear with me for just a moment. Okay, so it's popping over to my Sage software. So what we're going to do is I'm going to mention something that Laura may have mentioned before on her webinar as well, and it's around the practice data. So some of you may not be aware of the option for practice data, but in version 30.1 or above, in the practice data, you can actually upload a backup and treat it as dummy data but with your realistic data. That means that you can try try corrections, you can try processes that you're not familiar with before doing it in the live data. So if I go into File, Open, and then Open Practice Data, be presented with these two options. Now, if you don't see these options, it may be your version number because this is only available on version 30.1 or above. So I'm going to use my data. So I'm going to restore a backup. So I'm just going to browse, select my backup, and click Open. I'm going to continue. It's going to tell me what I'm restoring in. Now, one thing while we wait for this, one thing with the practice data is when you've once you come out of it, it doesn't stay it doesn't retain the backup that you've kept in there. It will revert back to blank, so you won't be able to try it, go back into your live data, and then go back into it again, and you would have to restore another backup. So I'm just going to log in with my details. You can see now it's telling me you are currently in practice company. So the beauty of this is it allows you to practice, relevant processes or steps, but with your real life customers, but it won't impact your live data. So anything you do in here will not impact your live data as long as it's got that yellow banner across the top. So we're going to try some steps in here. First we're going to try a bank transfer. So I'm going to go into my bank. And I'm going to post a bank transfer. So I'm going to do 1200 to 1220. I'm going to do a payment amount of £50. So I'm going to click Save. We've posted that transfer. So if I go into my transactions, I will see my bank transfer at the bottom. But then I've realised, well, actually, that's went to the wrong bank account. That wasn't meant to go to 1220. So what I'll do is I would, there's two ways that you can do it. So you can edit the transaction. So you can come in here, change the relevant bank. So let's just say it was supposed to be 1210. I've changed the relevant information, the right bank account. Click Save. And then that's where you can see I've now got that cancel. So what that's done is try that again. So what you can see, I've got the to cancel. So that's keeping the original information. So I've got an audit trail. And then what it's done is it's then posted new transactions with the correct details. So you've got an audit trail of, well, they were actually incorrect, went to the wrong bank account, and then it's posted the correct transaction. Some people don't like to have the red lines in their audit trail. So what you could do alternatively, let's just say, well, actually, that journal is completely incorrect altogether, shouldn't be in the software. So instead of just deleting it, what you can do is just pop into bank accounts, go to bank transfer, and then just post the opposite. So it was 1210. To 1200, and then just do £50 again. And then that will just reverse the journal altogether. So then if you need to repost a transaction or whatever, then obviously you can go back and do that. But that just saves as well. That's just another way to save you having those red lines in there. As I know, like I say, people do prefer that as well. So you can see I've done that journal reversal. Now for reconciled transactions, so when amending a transaction that has been either bank or VAT reconciled, there are some actions you may not be able to perform. So for example, VAT reconciled transactions cannot be deleted, but they will be reversed for you to cancel the effects. But the software will do that for you. So if we have a look at a VAT reconciled transaction, so let's just check this one. So this one has been VAT reconciled. Let's just say I want to delete this transaction. So I'll highlight it, click delete. Just ignore this one, it's because it's for a previous financial year. But when you come into the edit, this edit screen that you're maybe familiar with, if you click delete, it says, instead of delete this transaction, do you wish to reverse this transaction? So we'll click yes. So you can see now it's got a cancel in the reference. And the reason why that one doesn't show up as red is because it is VAT reconciled, and that article that I showed you before does explain that as well, why some of them are in black and then some of the normal color, and then why some of them may be in red. So if we scroll at the very bottom, you can then see I've now got a reversal, a bank receipt to reverse that bank payment that was VAT reconciled. For bank reconciled transactions, a big call driver that we get into our technical support is, why is my difference not zero on my bank reconciliation? And a common cause of this is because often a reconciled transaction has either been deleted or edited. So for example, the value might have been changed, and that tends to be the really common theme. So if I scroll back up to the top, we'll just find a reconciled transaction. Let's have a look. So you can see this one, I've reconciled this one. So if we make a note of the bank rec date, so this one has been reconciled today. So we've got bank rec date of the 15th. So what I would do, the normal steps you would do, if you know that it's bank reconciled, you need to change something, like a critical field, like a value. So it might be that predecessor, the they've reconciled the accounts wrong, and you'll go back and you've identified the issue of why your bank is off. Okay, I need to change the value. So you've got to edit the transaction. So you've made a note of the bank rec date, so the 15th of January. We go to edit. You can see I've got a bank rec on, and it's got that date. Untick that, edit your value. So you might go, okay, this actually was supposed to be £15. Close, put your bank rec back on, and that will prevent you from getting that message when you log into your bank rec. And you go your bank rec screen and it's telling you that the balance is off. This will prevent that message from coming up because the value, there might be that when it's identifying a difference, then it's going to help you identify that. So, do you wish to post these changes? Yes. You do also get a message. It's going to let you know that this one has been previously matched with bank feeds. If you make a change, it's going to impact it may impact your bank rec. That's fine. You click yes, and then you can see here this transaction has been bank reconciled. If it is edited and saved, this will affect your bank reconciled opening balance for the relevant bank account. If you click yes, if you're happy to continue, so we've managed to change that value, and that would be the changes. Now, if you were to delete that transaction, so we'll go back up. When it is bank reconciled, you'll get a similar message. So we'll come in here. We're actually just going to delete it. It was incorrect for whatever reason. Again, it's just letting you know that if it is deleted, it is going to affect your bank rec. So please do make sure that you are aware of that when you are making any changes to any reconciled transactions. Like you say, it is quite easily rectified in terms of with the bank rec. Making sure you're making a note of the original bank rec date, because you can always pop that back on in the edit screen, and I'll just quickly remind you that it is there. So we click delete. Yes, or should we want to delete this transaction? We're aware it's going to affect my bank rec. Click yes. Then as you can see, it's in bright red. And then if we scroll to the very bottom, we'll see I've got that BR right there, letting us know of the details there. Okay, so that is the demonstration for the corrections. So I'm just going to pop back to my slides again. If you have any questions, we haven't had any questions come through as of yet. So I'm just going to pop back to here. So I just want to quickly cover this as well. It's just more for your reference, really. So if you are going to be doing any reversals or posting a reversal, you're not quite sure, well, which transaction should I be posting? And this will help you with the double entry. So just for your reference in the handout as well. Okay, so we'll just a reminder, if you do have any questions too, please pop them through for us. We do have Michael and Laura here to answer any questions you may have. If you use the questions panel, then you can, the little icon, speech bubble icon with the question mark in the middle, if you can click on that and pop your questions across to us. Just got a question there. If you are in the practice data, how do you get back to your normal company? So I'll just pop back over to my software and I'll quickly show you that. Pop back over here. So in the practice company, once you've done your steps, you're confident with what you need to do with your steps, you simply go into File, Open Company Data, and it will bring up a list of your companies. Select the relevant company, pop in my login details, and then that'll log us back into the main company. But just a reminder that when you do log back into your live data, the practice data will have reset. So you won't be able to go back in. To continue where you left off, you would need to restore the backup back in there. Okay, so just while we're waiting for any further questions to come through, I'm going to pop back to my slides. Okay, so just some resources I just want to provide to you, so useful links. So we've got ones on editing transactions, why can't I delete or amend the transaction, hide deleted transactions, and why isn't my bank reconciliation different zero? So again, that is quite a high call driver with those sorts of topics. Just a reminder as well, just where you can find our webinars, where you get registered for whether it's 50 accounts, 50 payroll, you want to watch your recordings, you can simply just visit sage.co.uk/webinars. Again, the link is going to be in your handout and also in your follow-up email as well. Okay, so that does bring us to the end of today's session. If you've got what you need today and you want to leave the session, again, you are going to receive your follow-up email in around an hour or so with links to both today's webinars, the registration link for further webinars and the recordings as well. Upon exiting the session, you are going to receive a survey. If you could please fill that out for us. We do like to read every single comment on there. And it's just going to ask you questions of how I did today, what did you like, what would you have liked to have seen, and how we can improve future sessions. Okay, so no further questions have come through. So what I will do is I will wrap this session up. I want to say thank you to Michael and Laura who's been on hand today. Not too many, we've only had a couple of questions come through, so it's not been too bad. But also thank you to you all for your participation today. Just a reminder, we've got plenty of sessions over the next couple of weeks, so don't be shy and get registered. So I want to say another thank you and take care.